Hi and welcome back to the channel. Now a few weeks ago I made a video, and a link will be in the comments below, about what to look for when you're researching your European immigration ancestors. I looked at different name changes, different ports, that kind of thing, what you should be looking for. I did not tackle where you can look for that information. So in this video I'm going to look at 3 different sources of information, how you can focus in and get the information you need to resolve those journeys. Now the first way is a traditional way to go to a number of different websites, and there's dozens of websites available to trace your immigration ancestors. Now I'll just show you a few of my favorites here. Probably the best place to start is on Family Search. It's totally free, and we can go to their Wikipedia page and look for immigration and emigration, and that gives you really pointers to where to look, and it's a good starting point if you've got really no other information. It's pretty old-fashioned, if you like, in the way we're going to look, but it's a great place to start. And also within Family Search, it has a number of catalogues, 245 to be precise, where you can look for different naturalization and immigration records. So Family Search is a great place to go. If you can't find all the images here in the US and in the UK and other places, you can go to your local library and have full access to Family Search. Another one of my favourite sites is Steve Morse's link page, if you like, or one-step web page. He's taken the trouble to create links to many of the websites you're going to need when you're researching your ancestors. Very informative, has lots of different websites here and many that you've not heard of. And then we can go to the government sites, National Archives, and there's immigration records there. We can go and look at the different immigration records through the National Archives. So that's kind of the traditional approach. We can look at the different websites, and I'll put a link in there. Now what most people will do is actually Google. Now here's a Google example. Where can you find immigration records for European immigration in the 1800s? Now on this Google example, we can see there's an AI overview, which is kind of useful. It'll point you in the right direction. And then there's a bunch of sponsored links that we always see. Most of those will deal with immigration that probably have paid sites behind them. And then there's a bunch of different sites. So we're all used to Googling, and this is where most people go these days. But what I want to introduce to you really is the modern way of looking for your immigrant ancestors. And to go the modern way, we'll move over to AI. So AI is something I use a lot in my genealogical research, and I've made a number of how to use ChatGPT videos. So if you don't know how to use ChatGPT, just go to my site. There's plenty of videos, and I'll put some of the links below. But this is basically the screen for ChatGPT. There's other generative AI systems you can use from Google or from Bing or from Microsoft. I prefer ChatGPT. It's something I use all the time, but you get similar results from each one. Now this is the screen you'll see if you log into ChatGPT. I'll be using the paid version here, but the only difference between the free version and paid version in this particular video is that I can upload documents that I'll mention. Apart from that, the functionality here that you see is what you get in the free one. Now I've made a couple of case studies to show you how you can manipulate AI to be your research guide, if you like, your research assistant, to help you focus on European ancestors. And once you've started using this, you won't go back to Google or go into your old-fashioned web pages again. Just one word of caution: when we look at some of the web pages available, it may not get them all, so it's worth making sure that you've got the final list by actually going out and Googling at the end, but use this as your primary source from now on. So there's 2 plans here that I want you to look at. The first one here, let's just go to the top because this is my conversation. So this top bit here we call a prompt. And in this prompt we can write whatever we want, and we can actually load a document into the prompt. This is a fairly long prompt. I'll just go through this. I'm researching my great-grandfather Anthony Lopez, who was born around 1860 and emigrated to the US around 1880. We believe he came from Genoa, Italy, but are uncertain where he landed. He married Alicia Rossi, an Italian woman in Albany, New York in 1882. He died in 1920. Given his Spanish surname, I would like to explore whether his name was changed or recorded differently. I want to start with free online resources and later explore paid options and any specialist sites for Italian migration. Help me create a step-by-step research plan to find records of his immigration, naturalization, origin. So that's what you call a prompt. I've give the AI some of my information and I've then told it what I wanted to do. I would like to explore whether his name was changed or recorded differently. I want to look at free resources. So I've instructed it and I say I can load a lot more information. This is pretty brief. And it goes through a step-by-step research plan, which I won't go into this because it's pretty long and it'll take up the whole video. But step 1, gather, verify existing family records. Step 2, search US federal records for free. And it tells you now, you can see where I have the links here, family sites and National Archives. Find marriage records for free, here's the archives. It tells you what you should be looking for and where to look. Again, immigration passion list, where to search, ports to search, and I mentioned most of these ports in my last video. And naturalization records, again, what to search for, where to search. And we'll go through this whole plan. So this is a really nice plan, and it gives me a bunch of next actions. Now I can go back to this this conversation when I've started doing my research, and I can say, hey, I've done some research and this is what's happened, and what ChatGPT will do is change the plan accordingly. So I've written here, I cannot find him on the 1910 census, and then it explains why you might not be there, and then some steps to resolve that particular thing. And again, I can go back in, I may find him again or not, it depends where I'm looking or if he's on the census at all. And so this is a conversation you can have with your assistant, generative AI. And again, next steps here and some websites to look at. So that's one methodology, giving ChatGPT or generative AI all the information you have and letting ChatGPT come up with a plan. The other way, and some people may prefer this way, is where you don't have a lot of information. And many of us don't have a lot of information about our immigration ancestors. So I can have a prompt like this. According to family law, my great-great-grandparents Michael and Anna O'Donnell came to the US from Cork Island around 1900. I want to research their immigration story. Please help me construct a research plan that focuses on online resources, both free and paid. To build a plan, you can ask me the questions, one question at a time. Ask me the first question. So this is the key part of the conversation, the prompt. Many people know you can ask generative AI questions, but you can ask it to ask you questions. So what I've turned the tables, if you like, and now I'm going to be asked questions about what I know. So it says, great, let's start narrowing down the details. First question, do you have any records? And I can go through and say, oh, I have some records actually. And then I can say, well, you know, next question, does it list Michael and Donna's immigration? And I can say, I don't know, I'll have to check. So this is a true conversation that you'll be having with any genealogy, if you like. You're just answering questions and giving answers. And you can go through, and I'm not going to go through every question here, but you can see from the side here, it's a long conversation. And I can stop this at any time and go back and do some research. So, you know, for instance, do you have any idea what Michael Anna's hometown in Ireland was? And I say, no, that needs to be part of the plan. So I can go through, and this is a conversation where it points me to different plans. It will point me out websites to look at as I'm going through the plan, and it will keep going. So that's two different AI approaches, if you like. One where I bring in a lot of information, another one where I tell generative AI to ask me questions. Now, I can still give a lot of information and tell it to ask me questions. So that's the third approach. There is a hybrid approach where you can give a lot of information, but still ask it to ask you questions. So now I've done two videos, one about what you look for, and number two, where you look, and most importantly, using generative AI as your research assistant. Now I hope you found these videos very useful, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really helps a small genealogy channel like mine. Now, if you've got any comments, I'd love to hear them. Pop them in the comments below. And have a great look in your research. I hope you're very successful in using generative AI and finding your relatives using generative AI. Speak to you all soon.